super typhoon Yudu, a monster storm described as the strongest tropical cyclone on Earth this year, swept through the U.S. Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands in the Pacific early Thursday, killing at least one person and leaving a path of destruction in its wake. Yudu made landfall as the equivalent of a Category 5 hurricane, packing 180 mph winds, making it the strongest storm to hit any part of the U.S. since the beginning of 2018, the National Weather Service said. The Office of Commonwealth's governor stated on its Facebook page Thursday that a 44-year-old woman died while taking shelter in an abandoned building that collapsed. The victim has not been named. The Northern Mariana Islands' 55,000 residents braced for months without electricity or running water in the aftermath of the natural disaster. Emergency management officials warned people to stay indoors because downed power lines blocked roadways and winds were still strong enough to make driving dangerous. Gregorio Kilili Camacho Sablin, the Commonwealth's delegate to U.S. Congress, said the territory will need significant help to recover from the storm, which he said injured several people. In a telephone interview with the Associated Press from Saipan, Sablin said he has heard reports of injuries and that people are waiting at the island's hospital to be treated. He could not provide further details or official estimates of casualties. There's a lot of damage and destruction, Sablin said. It's like a small war just passed through. The Commonwealth's Emergency Management Agency was deploying resources to clear our roadways so first responders can begin assisting residents who have lost their homes and for those who need transport to seek medical attention or transportation to the nearest shelter, spokeswoman Nadine de Leon Guerrero said in a statement. Sablin said the entire island sustained damage, but there are areas that are worse than others. He has not been able to reach officials on the territory's neighbor islands of Tinian and Rota because phones and electricity are out. It's going to take weeks, probably, to get electricity back to everybody, he said. Sablin says colleagues in Congress have reached out to offer help. He expects there will be a presidential disaster declaration put in place. As the storm continues to move away from the Mariana Islands, Sablin said in a tweet Thursday evening that the typhoon warning for Saipan and Tinian was cancelled. The electricity on Saipan, the largest island in the Commonwealth about 3,800 miles west of Hawaii, went out at 4 p.m. Wednesday, resident Glenn Hunter said. We probably won't have power for months, he said, recalling how it took 4 months to restore electricity after Typhoon Soudelor in 2015. Maximum sustained winds of 180 mph were recorded around the eye of the storm, which passed over Tinian and Saipan early Thursday local time, said Brandon Aidlett, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service. At its peak, it felt like many trains running constant, Hunter wrote in a Facebook message to the Associated Press. At its peak, the wind was constant, and the sound horrifying. Tinian suffered a direct hit. Saipan and Tinian will be unrecognizable, Aidlett said, adding that the Weather Service received reports that Yudu's catastrophic winds ripped roofs from homes and blew out windows. Any debris becomes shrapnel and deadly, he said. Fallen trees could isolate residents, and power and water outages could last weeks, the Weather Service warned. Many homes have been destroyed. Our critical infrastructure has been compromised. We currently have no power and water at this time and our ports are inaccessible, said Joey Patrick San Nicolas, mayor of the island of Tinian. In a video posted on his Facebook page, San Nicolas said about 30 people had been rescued, and more were expected to be reached later in the day. The power distribution system was completely destroyed, he said, and requests had been made for water and food, which could be delivered by air as the Tinian's airport runway was undamaged. It was still dark when Hunter peeked outside and saw his neighbor's house, made of wood and tin, completely gone. A palm tree was uprooted. Hunter, 45, has lived on Saipan since childhood and is accustomed to strong storms. "We are in Typhoon Alley," he wrote, but added this is the worst he has experienced. The roof flew off the second floor of Del Benson's Saipan home. "We didn't sleep much," he wrote to the AP. "I went upstairs, and the skylight blew out. Then the roof started to go. We got the kids downstairs." Recovery efforts on Saipan and Tinian will be slow, Adelot said. "This is the worst-case scenario. This is why the building codes in the Marianas are so tough," he said. "This is going to be the storm which sets the scale for which future storms are compared to." The Tinian Medical Center sustained extensive damage. "Fortunately, no patients were present," he wrote in a post that also said the Commonwealth Healthcare Center and Rhoda Medical Center were running on generator power. Dean Sensui, vice chair for Hawaii on the Western Pacific Regional Fishery Management Council, was in Saipan for a council meeting. He hunkered down in his hotel room, where guests were told to remain indoors because winds were still strong Thursday morning. From around midnight the wind could be heard whipping by, he said in a Facebook message. Down at the restaurant it sounded like a Hollywood soundtrack with the intense rain and howling wind. Because he was in a solid hotel, it wasn't as scary as living through Hurricane Iniki in 1992, which left the Hawaiian island of Kauai badly damaged, he said. "The fact that we still have internet access proves how solid their infrastructure is," he said. Hawaii and others should study the Marianas to understand how to design and build communication grids that can withstand a storm. Hutbu was moving slowly towards the northern Philippines and Taiwan, but reducing in intensity